What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and this was a video I didn't think I would actually end up having to make at all. I didn't even think this would have been a topic that we would ever have to talk about, but it is something very important to, the future of Fortnite going forwards, and a very serious topic overall. So I want to start this video off by saying this relates to layoffs at Epic Games, and them sharing their plans of what they're trying to go forwards with and focus on for the future of Fortnite and, other games, projects, whatever else, but it mainly focuses and shines a light on the fact that they're laying off around 16% of their Epic Games employees, which isn't just Fortnite employees, right? This could be people working on UEFN tools, this could be people working on Unreal Engine, this could be people working on Fortnite, this could be people working on Rocket League because Epic Games owns Psyonix, this could be people working on Fall Guys because Epic once again owns Mediatonic. This could be tons of people. It's not just zoned in on this one game, it is zoned in on a whole entire section and genre of games, and it is a very, very important thing to at least discuss so you guys know what's going on and what Fortnite has to say about the future of this game and why we haven't really been seeing any sort of events recently. So I'm going to be showing this whole entire blog post on screen. You'll see everything. As you can see, it's a long read. We'll be stopping at some points to specify, certain things and everything, give more details and everything, but mainly to focus on what the entire letter is about and what you need to know exactly. So firstly, we have this amazing, massive chunk of text right here that was actually shared by Tim Sweeney himself regarding everything going on here. Now, I'm not actually going to read all of this. Instead, I've bullet pointed some of the main parts of what we're actually going to talk about here. So this first part here, right? This whole entire thing is basically saying, hey, we're laying off around 16% of the Epic employees that they have, and two of the companies that they actually acquired, being Bandcamp and Super Awesome, we're going to be either divesting them or they're going to be spinning them off and, making Super Awesome their own company once again, instead of being under the Epic Games umbrella, right? So they're actually taking ways, taking part with a lot of employees, but also a lot of little things that they've acquired here and there. So firstly, Bandcamp, when they mean by they're divesting it, they mean that's going to be joining Song Trader, or I guess Song Trader. I don't know why I butchered that with my spelling or whatever else, but that means that, it's no longer going to be a part of the whole entire Epic Games umbrella, and instead it's going to be kind of like tossed around, a little bit here and there. But for those who don't know what Song Trader is, it is actually a music licensing service for brands and agencies. So, it's a way for you to actually worry about, or I guess, never have to worry about getting a music license ever again. So that's kind of what Bandcamp's joining, and then Super Awesome is going to be spun off into, its own little company. The reason why is because Epic Games is quote-unquote spending way more than we earn investing in the next evolution of Epic and growing Fortnite as a metaverse-inspired ecosystem for creators. So that is the whole entire reason why these layoffs and all these crazy changes are happening out of nowhere, right? Is because they're spending more money than they're able to actually bring in from all the companies and stuff they're actually acquiring. And, it does kind of make sense at some parts, but at the same time, it always felt kind of ridiculous hearing Epic Games acquires Fall Guys, Epic Games acquires Rocket League, Epic Games acquires this, they acquire that, they acquire Harmonix. It's like we're always hearing about them acquiring things and always felt like they had infinite money based on how they were actually going about stuff. But then you see things like this happening where they're like, yeah, we were just money spinning happy, right? And we didn't earn enough money to actually make back the profits we were spending on everything. So we're going to be letting some stuff go, right? And it's not just like they're letting off Fortnite employees. They're letting off people who worked on those other games as well. So just keep in mind, like Mediatonic, before it was acquired by Epic Games in 2021, they had their own team and everything. When it was acquired, they still had the exact same team. Maybe they got some more people, maybe some people left, whatever else. But for the most part, that team was still there. And then, think about being a part of that team since before the Epic Games acquisition, and then getting a letter in your inbox earlier today being like, hey, we know you've been here working on this game and, for this company and stuff for a long time, even before Epic acquired you guys, but we're letting you go. You gotta get on out of here, okay? You're not allowed here anymore, okay, buddy? So you gotta just cut loose, leave. It is ridiculous to kind of think about, but it is the reality of what's kind of happening here. And like one thing I even saw on Twitter, I know this is a little bit of a side tangent, but one of the people who actually got, the whole entire layoff by Epic Games is also having a baby in a week. So imagine being in a weird spot, or, a terrible spot, I would say, where you receive a letter in the mail being like, hey, or I guess, in your email inbox or whatever else, being like, hey, we're letting you go, you're not going to work here anymore. And then you're like, well, I literally have a baby right now, you know, it's coming in less than a week, you know, what am I supposed to do now? Because it's like, at this time, you know, there's going to be a lot of people panicking, looking for jobs and everything else, because now they're technically not having a job at all, and they're also worrying about the fact that they're bringing new life into the world, and it is all just super crazy to think about. Now, for the next whole entire part, it's talking about, you know, like, Fortnite starting to grow again. However, the growth is driven primarily by creator content with significant revenue sharing, meaning that the main focus of Fortnite right now is creative mode. If we go back to our normal game, right, if we go back over here to the normal Fortnite and we check out the menu and everything, their main focus isn't ranked or, you know, of course, creative or save the world or Team Rumble, LTMs or anything like that. Their main focus are the things that get the most plays, right, being Dragon Tycoon, YouTuber Tycoon, Hero versus Villains. Is this a Tycoon? Nope, just Heroes versus Villains. Upwards Tycoon, Farm Life 3, this type of stuff over here, this is what their focus is actually on right now, you know, like Color Climb, all the type of stuff, and that's what they want to keep their focus being on going forwards, because they even mention basically that, you know, in terms of everything happening here, that, hey, Fortnite Battle Royale, you know, took off and helped them fund their expansion of everything else, and, you know, all that's good and all, but Fortnite Battle Royale does not get enough plays as creative does now. They're basically saying that, hey, you know, creative mode gets all of the player count, right? That has more players than Battle Royale at this point, to the point where I wouldn't even be surprised in the future if they go full Roblox and try cutting off Battle Royale and Save the World and make it literally just a creative metaverse platform. Now, they kind of go on in this whole entire messaging, you know, everything else from Tim to say, you know, some of the following things, such as, you know, they've been trying to reduce costs through net zero hiring, cutting operations spend, and other measures, but they've been financially struggling, basically, to actually sustain this stuff. And it's right, the financial, you know, like, issues have still remained there of them spending more than they're actually making, and they decided that, hey, the only option we can do that, you know, would allow us to cut costs without breaking development of their core lines of business, so they can continue focusing on their ambitious plans, was to lay off 16% of their actual teams. They mentioned that about 2/3 of the layoffs were in teams outside of core development, so this would mean people that you would see actually being, like, you know, like helping collaborate influencers with Epic Games, such as, you know, the early cosmetic program. This would include people such as, you know, those others out there who might be, for example, Freight Train USA, who actually was like the only face we had for Save the World, or I guess, you know, to Save the World in general nowadays, right? So now we have no one who's the face of Save the World, so whenever updates happen to that mode, we'll only find out through leaks and blog posts. We won't even have the small little community interaction that we had with him before anymore, because he's no longer with Epic Games. You know, he basically woke up and it's like, hey, here's a notice, you're getting let go, right? There's other people who are getting affected who, you know, are like the live operation lead for, you know, Epic Games, and these include people who are like former employees at other companies like Bungie, and it's just super chaotic, and they're like such a crazy mess to see how they're trying to lay off a lot of the external people who work on those little like collaborations, you know, in terms of like kind of trying to talk to the creators out there and trying to do all that type of stuff, and their main focus is on, you know, trying to make it so that it's only focused on development, right? The main core development of the things are what they want to spend their money on. Now, they do mention that the people who are laid off will receive a severance package including 6 months of base pay, 6 months of Epic paid healthcare, you know, if you're in the US, Canada, or Brazil, accelerated stock option vesting, not really for sure what that means, 401k profit sharing vesting in the United States only, and careers transition services, right? So, you know, they're like, hey, look, we're going to pay you for the next 6 months what you typically gain, no like bonuses or anything like that, and you'll still have 6 months of actual healthcare being paid by Epic Games to allow you half a year to actually try finding a new job. But of course, especially with how trying to find jobs recently have been, it could be pretty hard to try finding a replacement for a job or something, especially when you get laid off, because a lot of companies over the past like year have been doing layoffs, right? And I even know people personally who have been laid off by other companies in the past, so it isn't like it's, you know, something that isn't just that's like an Epic Games only thing, right? Basically everyone has done layoffs recently. And Epic Games mentions that, you know, going forwards, their main focus is going to be on Fortnite's whole entire creative mode system, right? You know, the whole entire like creator content that is made by us is their whole entire focus. Growing that engine and growing that whole entire creative system is their main thing they're going to be checking and, you know, trying to make their whole entire focus. And their long-term goal is, of course, Epic being committed to achieving profitability and becoming a leading metaverse company willing to make scheduled trade-offs to do so. And then as we go down here, we get some of the, you know, mentions of like Epic Games priorities. So they firstly mentioned that they're still focused on on shipping their most succeeded innovatives, being the next Fortnite season, Fortnite Chapter 5, Delmar, which is a racing mode for Fortnite that we've leaked previously, Sparks, which could either be the Sparks Rhythm LTM that, we have kind of leaked before, or a cosmetic type being worked on, codenamed Sparks, and Juno. Now, Juno is actually the LEGO collaboration, and it means that, all of their most focused things are Fortnite things, right? And a lot of the things that they're actually focusing on is either Fortnite seasons, Fortnite chapters, or, UEFN things, or whatever Sparks is, right? And the LEGO collaboration, and all of those schedules are going to be in place. They also mentioned that they aren't cutting any core businesses and are continuing to invest in games at Fortnite first-party development, the Fortnite creator system and economy, Rocket League and Fall Guys, and services for developers including Unreal Engine for games and enterprises, Epic Games Store, Epic Games Publishing, blah 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 blah, a lot of the Epic Games stuff that they actually own, and that they'll be having a long company meeting later in October to talk about all of their efforts and priorities. And then they mentioned what was the scope of the layoff. It was around 830 employees, or around 16% of jobs, and around 250 people are leaving Epic through Divestors from Bandcamp and Super Awesome. They're also cutting costs without sacrificing development or lines of business, so that means business functions are disproportionately impacted compared to development functions. And then they mentioned that they're not doing any more layoffs right now, right? At least for right now, according to their words, there will be no more layoffs, and the entire goal of this process was to make it so that their cost structure was more sustainable for a longer term, and they believe by doing these layoffs and cutting these costs in certain areas that they're actually doing a good thing for their company, that it's going to help them reach their bottom line of being profitable, right? They also talk about Project Liberty, which is the whole Apple v Epic situation, and they've mentioned that they've been taking steps to reduce their legal expenses, but are continuing the fight against Apple and Google distribution monopolies and taxes so the metaverse can thrive and bring opportunities to Epic and all other developers. Their main focus is this metaverse in Fortnite, and it's just super odd to see it, right? And now it's like the whole entire blog post overall is very interesting. It's just so odd that, like, I rarely just woke up, right? I woke up like an hour or two ago, and this is the first thing I saw 10 minutes still looking on my phone after waking up is, I go to my Twitter, and I just see, I've been laid off, I've been laid off, I've been laid off, I've been laid off. And, there's been some jokes here and there regarding, oh, Fortnite couldn't, help stop promoting or whatever creative map out there, and, so they had to lay off Epic employees or whatever. And what I want to say is that, in terms of everything going on, I'm not going to personally make any jokes about the situation. I do think it's interesting to see that based on everything they've mentioned, that, they're laying off so many parts of their community, right? They're laying off so many people, and their focus isn't on events. It isn't on it isn't on Battle Royale. It's not on Save the World. Of course it's not, or anything like that, but their focus is mainly on growing the Fortnite creative metaverse, and this is as we've seen them shift over time to a future where I feel that if the game is still around, we won't see Battle Royale, we won't see Save the World, we won't see any of that. I feel like in the future, Fortnite's just going to be creative mode, right? I feel like there's not going to be a competitive scene or anything. I think that they really want to shift their brand and everything else for Fortnite off of this Battle Royale theme, off of this whole entire Save the World theme, whatever else theme, ranked mode theme, and they want to go heavily in on nothing but the main focus of being a competitor to something like Roblox. And it's also just wild to think that the fact that Epic Games, originally was trying to cut costs by just kind of, spending less on stuff, in terms of events and marketing, in an effort to reduce costs, but, it didn't even work that well to the point where they had to actually lay off employees as well, kind of goes to show how they've been prioritizing what they've been spending their money on. Because if you've been focusing on creative mode and everything, some people in creative make a lot of money, right? I mean, we even had a leak back in like December or something, or it might have been a little bit later than that, where we saw some creators' revenue, and in 1 month, there were creators out there making like $500,000+ from creative maps, right? And it's crazy to see how they can make this much money, how they can basically be millionaires and everything else, assuming, after taxes and whatever, they still have a decent chunk of money. But at the same time, Epic Games is continuing to try marketing the game less, try, focusing on events less in order to reduce cost, and instead, they're having to go to this spot where it's like, yeah, we're having to actually lay off employees. So with that said, hope you champs and chambits enjoyed today's video. I know it's a little bit more on the serious side, but it is definitely an interesting topic to talk about when it comes to the future of Fortnite, and definitely the future of what we can expect going forwards in terms of events, in terms of battle royale and all that type of stuff. The future of Fortnite, according to Epic Games, according to Tim Sweeney themselves, is creative mode. It is not battle royale. It is not Fortnite events. It is not LTMs. It's not Save the World. It's none of that. It is creative mode, because creative mode gets them the most players. It gets more players to them now, you know, more actual hours played than battle royale does. Like, even though you go down here, right, and you'll see that battle royale has 310,000 people playing, zero build has 188,000, you know, ranked battle royale as well as 150,000, you know, 23.2 thousand. Those are really high numbers, but combined with every single experience in UEFN outside of it or whatever else, it is not profitable for them anymore. They think that creative is the way to go in the future. And I mean, you look at stuff like Football Tycoon with 11,000 players, you look at Biozone Wars with 21,000 players, and you can realize that while these combat maps are the main focus and everything, Fortnite's main battle royale mode is no longer a focus going forward. So with that said, I'll catch you champs and champettes next time with another video. Peace out.